Hi, Ken1171 here, and with this we're gonna start the third video of this series about the scatter tool. So in this scene we have two props and a figure, and two places I'm going to be scattering these objects over. One is a plane with a morph, doesn't look like, but this is the default polar ground. And this blue sphere is going to be used to scatter in 3D. So let's get started. Let's launch the scatter tool here. There you go. First thing you're going to notice is as soon as the tool has launched, you will notice there is a new object added to my scene called the scatter grouping. The scatter grouping has some objects of its own here too, and the purpose of this showing here is to organize your scene as you go adding more and more objects to it. How does that work? Well, first of all, it's a grouping object. You can create your own grouping objects by using Create Grouping from the Object menu, Create Grouping. And it shows here at the center of the scene as this little cube here. That doesn't show in renders. That's useful too. Alright, so let's see that working. We're going to be adding these yellow cones aligned to surface. And there we go. Add some cubes. And take a look on your scene. Nothing happens here. Why? Well, all the new objects were added to the scatter group so that it doesn't clutter your scene. Isn't that neat? Alright, one other thing you can do with this is, since everything added to the scene by the scatter tool gets added to this grouping, you can also use the visibility toggle. See this eye icon here? If you click it, everything that's inside this grouping becomes invisible, which is great to improve viewport performance as you go working on the rest of the scene. Okay, let's bring it back. Let's switch to the sphere and scatter some cubes and cones. And here again, if I go here to my scatter grouping, I can make everything visible or invisible with a single click. How neat is that? Alright, now let's switch to figure mode. That's something we haven't done yet. Select Blobman. That's this little guy here. It's a figure, low poly, very simple figure I have created myself. And let's scatter him too. Over the sphere, let's put like 3 copies of him on the sphere. And there you go. Here again, if I toggle visibility for the scatter group, everything, including props or figures, become visible or invisible. Now let's switch back to the ground and scatter some more Blobman. There you go. Where's the third one? Oh, it's hidden there in the corner. Alright. Now, as you see here, because Blobman has a prop hair attached to his head, let's go closer here. Yeah, you see this object here? That's a prop hair. It's a prop attached to his head. When he gets duplicated, so is his hair. So the hair shows here in the props list. Alright, so next, let's go to the management part here, which is done with the by the tool itself. It manages, it tracks everything it puts into the scene. How does that work? Well, first of all, let's take a look on the Remove Selected button, this one here. Let's select the cone and Remove Selected on the ground. So when I click it, all the cones that I added to the ground get removed. does not affect the ones in other surfaces. And again, take a look here. The original cone we have created to scatter, that does not get affected. This button here, remove selected, can only delete objects the tool has created. So the original cube and the original cube will not be removed. Let's try that. Let's select the cube and remove selected. Boom. The original cube does not get deleted. Let's try the same. Let's put some cubes back. Some cube. Oh, let's increase the number to 10. Add some more cubes and cones to the scene. And let's switch to the sphere. Alright, let's go to figure mode, select Blobman, and remove him. As you can see, you can add and remove objects very quickly with this management here. Now, what happens if I close the tool? Now all the tracking for the objects it has created is lost. The moment I close the tool, the tracking is lost. So how does management is going to help with that later? Let's see. Let's open the tool again. And the moment I bring it back, it no longer knows what it has placed and where. So if I select the cone from the ground and click on the remove selected, oh my god, nothing happens. What happened? Is it broken? No. What happens here is that since it doesn't have any tracking on this scene, in this session, it cannot delete anything because it doesn't think it created it. It doesn't know it created it, because when it closed it, it loses all the tracking. So what if I add more cubes? Now in this session, there they go, 10 more cubes, and I click the remove button. Well, only the ones created in this session are affected. So if I add more cones as well, and I click the delete button, see, only those created in this session are affected. The others remain in the scene. Does that mean I have to delete all of them by hand if I need to? No, don't worry. That's covered too. This button actually has a dual function. If I left click it, whatever is selected here in the list will be deleted, assuming it's in the same session. But what if it's not? Alright, let's select the cone, the yellow cone here in the ground, and let's right click the button. And what's going to happen here before I do it, so you don't get surprised, since it doesn't have any tracking over the cones that were already on the scene when the tool was launched, when I right click, all the cones from all surfaces get deleted. And this only happens the first time you do that, because everything that's put after, it's already being tracked. So if I scatter cones over the ground and then over the sphere, if I now click the remove selected, only those are on the sphere are affected. But remember, those, I think those red cubes here are from a previous session. Let's test that. If I click the remove, yeah, nothing happens. And if I right click, boom, everything that has this name gets deleted from the scene. Of course, not the original. Only the ones added later. This can be used in many different ways to manage your scene. If, for example, I don't want to go one by one on each surface I have scattered objects. I want to remove all the cones from all objects where it has been scattered. So let's put some here on the sphere. And if I right click it, see, those are tracked objects. So if I delete them using the left click on the button, only those will be deleted here. But let's say I want to delete from all surfaces. If I right click, boom, they're all gone. So you can use this in different ways depending on what you want. All right, enough of management. Let's take a look now on display styles. That's another thing that has been added to the tool. Let's add something to have a style with. Add some more. Add some cubes too. And see this list over here? These are display styles that can be used to help with display performance. So, for example, default is normal mode, the parent style. If I change to outline, all the objects on this plane that has that name get turned into outlines. And if I scroll with the middle mouse over the list, I can make it go through all the other styles, including going back to no style. So what happens if I scatter more objects when I have this style selected? Let's try that. Let's switch to cone and scatter more objects. See here now, we have cones. There are in one style and another one that has no style. So you can mix and match those as you please. The thing is, whenever you change this setting here, it affects the currently selected object, in this case the cone, even though now we have some in outline and some in no style. If I set them to outline, all of the cones now getting outline. And I can keep changing this as I please to get what I need. And that's to help with display performance as you go getting more and more objects into your scene. For example, this has more meaning when using figures, because as you can see here, it doesn't matter what surface I have selected here, this affects all the objects that were scattered with the same name. So figures, they are kind of heavy on a scene, and I can make them either clicking here and making everything invisible, because there's nothing faster than that, or I can do this control and manage display styles per object, which is also included with the tool. And that's what I wanted to show you. Thank you.